Dear Professor, dear Lucio Rapoport, I listen us. Do you listen us? Dear Professor, where are you? Oh, thank you, thank you. You can begin. You can begin. Start, please.
Okay. Good afternoon to all colleagues. Today I will present a work. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. Continue.
Okay, I'll continue then. Thank you. So this is extracts from a work of 1,800 pages, which I'm completing, and it deals about the unification both of the mind and the physical, chemical, biological domains. It's called a Klein bottle logophysics as a path to healing the Cartesian and other fractures. It's a connection and fusion of the material, imaginal, semiotical, and cognitive domains. It's a realization of Heidegger's quest, a phenomenology based on topology. It's based on non-orientable topologies, one-sided surfaces, Mobius strip and Klein bottle, which transcend the dual image schema contained of Cartesian dualism, which dichotomizes in terms of inside and outside. It provides a transdisciplinary onto-epistemology, together ontology and epistemology, which transcends duality. One of the key theses is the universality of homological correspondences between the patterns in nature, the body-mind, social organization, culture, based on this logophysics. It was first suggested by Carlos Geltastics and Alexander Bogdanov, which he called these homologies sociomorphisms, as homologies of mental patterns, basically based on dualism and the economical organization of labor. But it also has a cosmic face to it, socio-cosmomorphisms. At the terrestrial level, it's the precession of the equinoxes, a torsion geometry, and its mythopoetic expressions. It's the common ground for all religions. So, the Klein bottle surface is an embodied logic. Here it is. It has four states: outside, 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 inside, inside and outside, and inside, outside, and it's made by self-penetration. I said it was embodied. Examples of this, the anatomy, physiology, the somatosensory, touch and haptics, and visual systems. It's the unity of action and perception. In genomics, genomes are generated by the tensor product of this Klein bottle. The algebraic topology structure of genomes as palindromes is the expression of this. And the number of triplets in terms of harmonics defined by this surface. In the cognitive domain, it's the metaform supporting memory and the homology of physical motions and of motions in music too, and cognitive domains. This is the principle of complementarity in cognitive psychology put forward by Roger Shepard in the USA. The algebra that comes from this, it's not only the algebra of the genomes, it is isomorphic to the Chinese hexagrams in the I Ching. In biology and neurosciences in general, the new paradigm of the neurosciences in terms of affection, it is Klein bottle is isomorphic to the Markov blankets proposed by Carl Friston, related to the primal forms of consciousness affections, and operations of system with a boundary, for example, the biological cell and its membrane. As examples, the mammal heart, the gait patterns of locomotions, be that walking, swimming, flying. In semiotics, it's metaphor. What we will find is a pan-semiotic cosmos rather than a pan-psychic cosmos. A piece of evidence, at the central of the Milky Way, there is a megaparsec Mobius strip. Already Michelangelo was aware of this primeval form of semiotics by indication, which he depicted in the Sixtine Chapel in the Vatican, with God and Adam pointing each other with their index. It's also the metaphor for resonance and for pattern formation and recognition. Pattern formation does not require an agent. It may also, it's in the brain, but pattern recognition, the metaphor of it, does not require an agent. So the topological identification of the Klein bottle is you take a parallelogram and you identify, as you see in the left side of the figure, by identifying two sides with the same direction, two sides with the opposite direction. In algebraic terms, this is the Hadamard gate of quantum information theory, the single gate that transcends dual logic. And it's a basic matrix in the algebraic formulation of genomes by Professor Sergei Petukov of the Russian Academy of Sciences. What is original of this, it's not an Cartesian object contained in space, but it's self-contained, it's self-referential. It has an asymmetry and a symmetry together. Symmetry and asymmetry together, essential to physiology and to pattern formation. It's an ecological relation because it brings in the environment by self-penetration. And this torsion, which is produced by this identification, is the primal embodiment of memory, elicited the complementary principle of cognitive psychology. It's in the unconscious brain-mind construal of model of object kinematics. So the movement of objects as physically represented by physics turns to be the same model that our brain constructs instantly. It's basic to sociomorphisms and sociocognitism. But it's much more than a hierarchy. It can be extended to an heterarchy with several Klein bottles, which now it's not like a babushka containment. It's a cross-containing in which the most inner part becomes the most outer and the other ones change too. So it's the metaphor for ecological, sociocultural, biological systems. For example, in the case of genomes, by incorporating epigenetic factors. Another form of this, simpler one, it's the Mobius strip, two Mobius strips glued together from the Klein bottle. It gives the protoform of Newton's third law, rather than the metaphysics of action and reaction, where points to one side is the same to what points to the other side, which is not the other side. It's the same side, but with a twist. This is the primal example of what is called a topological anomity. Topological anomities are found in quantum optics, in nonlinear sound. It's one of the central topics of theoretical and practical physics, in optics, in metamaterials, etc., etc. And in biology, together with what is called the torsion geometry related to this, it's extremely extended in theoretical physics. So there is a notion in which the globality shows that there is more to particulars, in which if you transport a system on a self-referential closed path, when you return to the end, it's there that you find that the system has changed. This is called an holonomity or a periphase. In terms of the relation of this, non-orientability can be open and cut into this, which will give precisely the form of the pentagon, and completed gives, when the sides are all equal, it gives the golden mean. One way of looking at this is by crystal edge dislocations. Torsion, instead of being an absolute space, it's a self-referential because of the closed path, where here we have a dislocation, and heteroreferential because it not only invokes the self-reference in closing, it invokes alter reference to the singularity that is placed here. So very differently to, it also happens with this side of dislocation, which is basic. So the combination of screw and edge dislocations is the most general form of torsion. You find it in DNA, in turbulent fluids, magnetohydrodynamics, electromagnetic and acoustic waves. All the fields, all the equations of quantum physics are torsion geometries, particularly Brownian motions. But it's not only central to physics, also, as I will show, the mathematical model of visual perception, while active locomotion, and also it differs with Einstein general relativity, for which torsion is null. It has no anormalities, banal self-reference, and heteroreference is in existence, if not in terms of distance. So here, this geometry presents already at the very origin a cognitive element, which is self-reference and heteroreference. This is completely absent in Penrose and Hammer's theory of consciousness, because it invokes a quantum gravitation given to curvature of space-time defined in terms of distance. So it's an oxymoron. I have elaborated this in a very extensive article, 90 pages, published in the Journal of Physics recently. So torsion is also at the same time.
You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. Let me show you then. It's the metaphor of resonance, also in music, in receptive fields. Receptive fields have for invariance the Klein bottle. This is the basic for the visual system. And for the architecture, the periodic architecture of the visual cortex. So we have this at the same time here embedded in the body. Now, in the human heart as well. In the sociology of experience put forward by Bogdanov and Berger and Luckman, it's a Klein bottle phenomenology in which we project our mental patterns into the world, we transform into a facticity, which is the world we live, and then we introject it, conforming a cycle and a perceptive cycle of cognition. Now, if we go, in the case of music, here we have, it's not only motion of objects, it's the motion in terms of an octave given by the tritone, the half of it. So in image schemas, this can be reduced to the dual image schema of containment, in which the sides are an outside dichotomization, which has still one possibility, which is the possibility of hegemonism, which is contained as a sign, which assigns truth as self-attributed. So this goes further beyond this. I missed. Okay. In the case of neurosciences, it's nowadays what is called the Markov blanket, which proposes that departing from affections being the primal form of consciousness, which are both inside and outside, and it's a procurement of homeostasis, define, starting from a random process through a free energy, minimization of free energy, which is the minimization of uncertainty. It produces 4 states, which is the boundary of any biological system. Well, that's all I will speak. Well, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, is there any questions? One question.
Do you know that a lot of graphics of a sphere can realize your ideas? A sphere, Cornelius sphere.
Pardon, can you repeat this, please, again? My age, I do not hear well.
Do you know Cornelius sphere graphics?
Cartesian sphere graphics?
Yes.
No, I'm afraid not. I'm afraid not.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'm ready to share this with anyone who's interested. So I've given my email address at the very end. You can find it, and you can write to me if you wish.
Right, thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to participate in this meeting. I'm sorry I'm so far away that I could not come. Thank you very much.
Okay, okay. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you.